Hello everyone. We are looking at geometric sequences and series, and we are going to talk about the sum of the first n terms. The sum of the first n terms of a geometric sequence is given by the formula S sub n equals the ratio of a sub 1 times the parentheses of 1 minus r to the nth, and in the denominator 1 minus r, for any r that is not equal to 1, because if it's equal to 1 then my denominator would be 0. And really, common ratio of 1 means you just have the same number repeating. So let's look at an example. Let's take this and actually see it and do something with it. So find the sum of the first 7 terms. And they've given us 3 of the terms, which allows us to be able to do some calculating. We got to be able to find r. We know n is 7. So in here we have the stuff to find. A sub 1 equals 6. N is 7. My r is simply a sub 2 divided by a sub 1, and that gives us a value of 2. So I'm going to take all of these, what all these equal, and I'm going to plug it into my formula and solve. More or less plug and chug. So S sub n becomes S sub 7 equals, and a sub 1 is 6, 1 minus r is 2, so there's my 2, and it was to the nth power, so 7, because n was 7. That's my numerator. 6, and inside the parentheses 1 minus 2 to the 7th. All of that over in my denominator is simply 1 minus r, so 1 minus 2, because r was equal to 2. And then I solve. I end up with S sub 7 equals 762. That is the value of adding the terms 1 through 6. This was term 1, term 2, term 3, and we would go all the way up to term 7. I added all those together. That's what I would get. What I would like for you to do is pause the video and work this problem. Find the sum of the first 10 terms, and that's what we have. Alright, so first thing is write out my formula. And then identify a sub 1. A sub 1 is 16. N equals 10 terms. My r, and I could turn around and I could do this, and let's do this time. Let's say instead of a sub 2 divided by a sub 1, I'll say a sub 3 divided by a sub 2. It doesn't matter. So a sub 3, that is 4 divided by a sub 2, and negative 8. It gives me a negative 1/2. And I would have had the same thing if I said a sub 2 divided by a sub 1. That'd be a negative 8 over 16. That r value, just like d, is the same in between each one of these. I just need to make sure that I pick a higher term in sequence and place it over the next lowest term in sequence. So now I take these values, 16, 10, and negative 1/2, and I plug them in where they're supposed to go. So n was 10, so S sub 10 equals 16 times 1 minus a negative 1/2 and 2 to the 10th. I have to do the calculator on that one. So calculator, and that will be 2 to the 10th, so 1024. So I have 16, and I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 1 like this. I've just rewritten 1 because this is what I have here. This is 1/2 to the 10th, negative 1/2 to the 10th. 2 to the 10th power is 1024. And all I did was rewrite 1 to where have common denominators to do that math there. And this becomes 3/2. 1 plus 1/2. And that equals s to the 10th. And what does this become? This becomes, let's see, this will be 16 times 1023 over 1024. And I will just leave my 3/2 down there until I simplify. 16, how many times will 16 go into 1024? So 1024 divided by 16 is 64. So this becomes 1, and this here becomes 64, to where I have 1023 over 64. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. 1 and 32. 3 cannot go into 1023. I can sum my digits. 1 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3. 5, 6, yep, I'm so sorry. 3 can go into that, so 1023 divided by 3. The sum of the digits, if they are divisible by 3, then it can go in there. I was thinking that the total was 7, so that becomes 341, and that becomes 1. So what I'm left with 341 over 32 as my answer. And let's just see what that numerically is. Divided by 32. 341 divided by 32. That's approximately 10.6. And that would be a difficult one to be able to come up with, especially taking it out 10 places and finding the sum of all of them, especially alternating between adding and subtracting with each one. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please structure and critically think of your homework, watch your publisher's videos, and good luck on your remaining homework problems.